AdamandJP.com.
Right now.
Exploring the multiverse of pop culture.
This is Podcasserole.
I'm fine now. I'm not scared anymore. The tall man just wants to play.
An Adam and JP show.
Hey there.
Hi there.
Are you listening to the candle?
Yeah, it sounds like a nice campfire. I like this.
The crackling of the candle. That's actually one of the candles that has the wick that cracks.
Yeah, I like that.
Crackles.
I like the old crackle.
Like the candy bar?
Do they make full-size crackles if we're in the Halloween spirit?
Uh-huh. You want a full-size crackle?
I've only seen, Crackle, Mr. Goodbar, and that may be it. But those, I think of those as
$100 grand?
No, I've seen a full-size 100 grand, but those, Crackle and Mr. Goodbar are only...
I've seen a full-size Mr. Goodbar.
Have you really?
Yeah.
I want to see it.
I don't know if they make them now.
What about
But at one point in my lifetime, there was a full-size Mr. Goodbar.
What about a big old crackle?
I don't know that I've ever seen a big crackle.
Let me Google search big crackle here. Adult filter off.
Adam searching for a big old crackle. A big chunky crackle.
Wow. Did you mean Bic Crackle?
No.
No, I did not.
It's not what I meant at all.
No, sir, I did not.
Maybe you want full-size crackle. Adult-size crackle.
First thing that keeps popping up is a band by Kirby Crackle. Their hit single, Big Heart, comes up when you look up Big Crackle. I'll listen to Kirby Crackle later on. Big Crackle Bar?
You might end up being a super fan.
Whoever KirbyCracklemusic.com is, check that out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Free plug.
I just said that person's website like they're a person, like Basil Marceau.
.com?
KirbyCrackle.com, yeah. Big
.com.
Crackle Bar. Oh, I'm misspelling it. It's Crackle.
Hold on a second. Krackel?
Yeah, that's the proper way. I was doing an LE.
Oh.
Like actual crackle. It sounds right, but it's Crackle.
Crackle.
Wow. You can go to the Blair Candy Company and buy an 18 count of big Crackles for $18.
That sounds like a steal.
What a deal.
For crackle. That's the rice, right?
Yeah, that's like
chocolate and rice.
Like a fancy crunch bar.
Isn't that what a Nestle's Crunch is,
that's what
too?
I'm saying, the crunch bar, yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
When I was growing up, we called them Nestle's Crunch.
Oh, I got you. Put this. So it's like a... Right, that's just the manufacturer. Do you say like a Mars M&M's?
Hey, can I get a Diet Coca-Cola and a Nestle's Crunch? Can I get a Diet Coca-Cola from the Coca-Cola Bottling Company and a Nestle's Crunch?
If you go to the Crackle Wikipedia page, the main picture is of the fun size.
Well, everybody loves the fun size.
Related brands to a Crackle bar is a Nestle Crunch. I think, you know what? This Halloween season...
Yeah, Nestle's Crunch. You said it exactly right.
Not this episode, not next, but in the future, we should talk about...
Our favorite candies?
Halloween...
Yeah, we've never done that.
Halloween treats. We've talked about favorite candies and foods, but never specifically a Halloween treat. Have we? Like a whole show dedicated to it?
Like pumpkin spice latte?
We could do that. Crackle is a chocolate bar made by the Hershey Company, so pretty much it's a Hershey bar with some Rice Krispies in there, right?
Well, what does Nestle's Crunch have in it?
Maybe that, but it's a competitor to Nestle Crunch, whatever.
But it's made by the same company.
No, so let's see here. Crackle's made by Hershey.
Oh.
Nestle Crunch made by Nestle.
Okay.
Nestle. Huh. Interesting.
That is a pumpkin candle that's burning too.
The nice crackle in the back. That's where it all started.
Do you want me to blow that out?
No, I like it. I do like it. It's like a campfire.
Is it relaxing?
Yeah. Crackle originally sold as an individual chocolate bar product until 1997.
When?
And for 17 years available only as one of the 4 varieties of Hershey's miniatures until it was reintroduced as an individual candy bar in 2014. So 17 years, it was only a mini. And for the past 4 years, it's been a full size again.
Which could explain why you're not familiar with the full-size crackle.
It's got to be the same for Mr. Goodbar, right?
I don't know. I do love a good Hershey's crackle.
Mr. Goodbar is pretty much a Hershey bar with peanuts, yeah?
I don't know. I'm always searching for one.
That's it. Wow. For the song Mr. Goodbar by LL Cool J, see, Mama Said Knock You Out.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it says.
I'm going to knock you out.
Oh, that's what it is. Yeah, it's the idea of a Hershey milk chocolate bar with almonds. Instead of almonds, they have peanuts, but it's called a Mr. Good bar. But yet if you have almonds instead of peanuts, it's just Hershey with almonds.
What does Mounds have in it?
That's just chocolate with coconut.
An Almond Joy?
Chocolate, coconut, and the almond.
Because sometimes you feel like a nut.
Sometimes you don't.
Almond Joy has nuts.
Others don't? I don't know.
Mounds don't.
Okay, that's what it is. I don't know.
Because sometimes you feel like a nut. Sometimes you don't.
Right. Interesting. I can read this all day, but I won't.
So I remember a commercial
Did you know? I'm just joking.
for the Almond Joy and the Mounds
Yeah.
with that song. And I swear there was a dancer, and the dancer would go side to side.
Yeah.
One side dressed like a female, one side dressed like a male.
Uh-huh.
To go along with the song.
Which one
It was
the
a bit
nut?
of a double entendre.
Oh, wait, like a nut.
Just saying. I remember that from my childhood. You can Google it. Google
You think it meant that? Yeah, it was just saying like sometimes males are nuts. You know?
nuts.
Nuts. Remember Nut and Honey?
What you got there?
Remember that?
What you got there, Private? Nut and honey. Don't you call me honey.
I take it you do.
It was a different time.
Yeah. Well, when do you think Nut and Honey was discontinued?
1993. 11.
I can't find this at all.
I remember Nut and Honey
I can't find a Nut and Honey.
because that was the running joke.
Yeah.
What you have in there? Nut and honey.
Yeah. It's gone now, though.
And there was one with a private and a drill sergeant. I remember.
the husband, after a long day's work, coming into the dinner table, you know,
Yeah.
Nut and Honey, and she would get mad at him for it. What do you want, Nut and Honey? What do you want for dinner? Nut
For
and
dinner?
Honey? Well, she's like, what do you want for dinner? And he's eating, and he's looking at the box, like, Nut and Honey. She's like, Stanley, what do you want for dinner? Nut and Honey. Stanley. It was like that.
It went on for 25 minutes.
For this 25-minute commercial. One of those Jack LaLanne juicer commercials.
Then she punched him.
Yeah.
Hit him over the head with the frying pan. I bet she was in a robe, too.
Probably so. Hair and curlers, you know.
Yeah, because no woman ever left the house up until like 1988.
Is it Crunchy Nut? Was it called Crunchy Nut before? I can't find Nut and Honey. That's it.
Well, it's
Nut and Honey.
NUT apostrophe N apostrophe honey.
Adult search on.
Safe search or
Yeah.
adult search? What kind of browser are you using?
That's funny. Nut and Honey. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Wow. In the 80s. This would take forever. There's a whole website, MrBreakfast.com/cereal. And you can go for discontinued cereals.
And Nut and Honey is one of them.
Wow. Yeah.
Looks good, Prophet.
It was
What is
voted
it?
on-
Nut and Honey.
Wow. This website on MrBreakfast.com has the top 100 all-time greatest breakfast cereals.
Is Sugar Smacks number one?
Are you curious in the least bit?
I am pretty curious.
You want I'll give you a skim, and we'll do the top 10.
Okay.
This is not what I expected to happen from the crackling of the candle, but it happens.
What would a podcaster roll?
To give you an idea of what we're working with here, number 100 is Total cereal.
I remember that.
Total.
Yeah.
Ooh, number 97, I'm skimming what I like to see here, is the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 1989 cereal.
Right.
Let's go to, I don't remember Circus Fun.
Nope. Wait a minute. That sounds like an off-brand cereal.
General Mills, it was a real deal.
Oh, wow.
Number 86, Urkel O's.
Oh, wow. See?
Didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah.
82, Rice Krispie Treats cereal. I think that would be higher.
I would too. When was that? 82?
Yeah. Or no, I'm sorry, number 82 out of 100.
Oh.
Yeah, we're going for the numbers.
Okay.
Number 77, Raisin Bran.
2 scoops. 2 scoops of raisin in every box.
I'm going to go up here a little more. Number 62, the Pink Panther Flakes cereal.
Nope.
Don't know what that is. Apparently, multiple people have had the Raisin Bran name because we talked about earlier in the the 80s was Raisin Bran from Post. Number 59 is Skinner's Raisin Bran cereal.
Maybe Skinner had it first and then Post bought them.
And they just sold out.
And there's no Post anymore.
Number 54, the Mr. T cereal by Quaker.
Mr. T.
Ooh, number 47 from General Mills, Pac-Man cereal.
I remember that.
Number 44.
The Ghost for Marshmallows.
I believe, that makes sense. I believe should be higher. 44 from Post, Fruity Pebbles. That's a standby.
I remember Fruity Pebbles. And then there were Bam Bam. Bam Bam had a cereal, too.
Cocoa Pebbles at number 33. Mm-hmm. Cookie Crisp at 34.
Cookie Crisp.
Number 35 is C-3PO's cereal. Honeycomb, 31.
Okay. I enjoyed Honeycomb. In the Honeycomb Hideout.
Number 19. Oh, wow. Number 20. I think this is the most modern raisin brand from Kellogg's at number 20.
Kellogg bought Post.
Weird.
Or Kellogg's.
And Skinner's. So Skinner's, Post, Kellogg. I got to look up the cereal history.
I mean, I don't know. I'm just guessing.
Number 14, the classic old Kellogg's Corn Flakes.
Ugh.
No one eats that without sugar. I mean, you like the thing.
I put 2 scoops in
Here we
that
go.
of sugar.
I don't know what number 12 is. Rice Crinkles from Post.
Like Crackle?
Yeah. Number 11, Oat Flakes. Don't know what that is. But here we go. Top 10. Top cereals of all time.
Top 10 cereals from our home office in Lebanon, Pennsylvania. Top 10 cereals of all time.
You're going to think of this as like an IGN countdown. Keep that in mind. Number 10, from General Mills, Lucky Charms cereal. Still going strong today.
That is a fantastic
belongs
cereal.
in top 10. Number 9, I've never heard of before, from Kellogg's, Puffa Puffa Rice cereal.
That sounds made up.
Never heard of Puffa Puffa Rice. Number 8, I've never had, but everyone speaks of it. From General Mills, it's Wheaties. That's just like
it's the breakfast of champions.
Yeah, but that's like cornflakes, right? There's no. There's no
It's
frosting.
not corn, it's wheat.
Yeah, but it's the same thing, right?
No,
there's no like.
one's corn, one's wheat.
But it's just wheat flakes, yeah, like unsweetened wheat
But
flakes.
it's smaller.
Yeah, but they're unsweetened, yeah.
They're Wheaties.
Whatever number 7 is from Kellogg's Concentrate cereal. What is that?
No clue.
These all have clickable links, but I don't have time to go on these cereal websites.
I can't believe we're doing this.
I'm teasing you for the Halloween treats later on. Number 6, Fortified Oat Flakes cereal from Post, whatever that is.
Nope.
Number 5 belongs in the top 5, Captain Crunch.
Oh, yeah.
Captain.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to be so mad. So mad.
No, I know.
Number 4, Honey Nut Cheerios cereal. Before we get to the top 3, what are some we haven't said yet you believe should be in the top 3?
Tricks.
Okay.
Fruit Loops. I think Sugar Smacks.
They were all down there. Number 3,
Honey Smacks.
from General Mills, Cinnamon Toast Crunch cereal. Number 3.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
You're going to be so mad at number 1.
Actually, Cinnamon Toast Crunch is really good, though.
You're going to be so mad at number 1.
Probably.
Number 2, I believe should be number 1. When I think of cereal,
Fruit Loops.
no, I think of Frosted Flakes when I think cereal.
Frosted Flakes.
Like Frosted Flakes is cereal.
They're great.
If I could draw anything better than a stick man, I drew a bowl of cereal, I would draw Frosted Flakes.
Yeah.
Number 1.
With Tony the Tiger, right?
Yeah. Kellogg's. Number 1 of all time.
Number 1 cereal of all time.
Never even heard of this.
What?
I'm serious. Never heard of it. From Quaker, Quisp. Quisp cereal. Quisp.
What kind of list is this? Who put this together?
Introduced in 1965, Quisp is the number 1 breakfast
Are you
of
trying
all
to say
time.
crisp?
No, Quisp.
Oh, it's crisp.
Yeah, Quisp.
Well, little Adam, what would you like for breakfast? Quisp.
Here's the quick history of it. You can't keep Quisp cereal down, which sounds like a bad thing.
That sounds...
After a popular run, the cereal was removed from shelves in the mid-'70s.
It had like a 10-year...
Well, it reappeared briefly in the mid-1980s and disappeared once again.
Which means it's a crappy cereal.
Nope. In the mid-'90s, the cereal emerged yet again as the first internet cereal available for online purchase only. In 2008, the cereal was sold in limited quantities at Dollar General stores in select areas. So if you want the greatest cereal of all time, you have to go to a local Dollar General store. It's a DG exclusive. You toy hunters out there.
How is this the limited edition Quisp? How is this the greatest cereal of all time?
It's advertised as the vitamin-powered sugary cereal. It's the best of both worlds,
No,
like Miley Cyrus.
It's stupid.
For quasi energy, it says.
What website is this?
I told MrBreakfast.com.
Well, Mr. Breakfast is full of crap. It's not Quisp.
Which came first, the cereal or the mascot? Because if you know your cereal history, the Quisp mascot is a pretty big deal. I can't even joke about it. Long story short, the Rocky and Bullwinkle creators created Quisp, the mascot for the cereal. Check it out, Quisp.
Is it Rocky and Bullwinkle?
No, it's Rocky and Bullwinkle-esque, but look up Quisp.
Is it Natasha and Boris?
Close, yeah.
Moose and squirrel. Well, I don't agree with that. I would put Fruit Loops probably as the greatest of all time.
Fruit Loops is good, but a blind taste test, I don't know if I could do Fruit Loops and Trix. Like, to me, they have the same flavor. It's the same thing.
But Trix are for kids.
My bad. Fruit Loops are good. I think you have to have that one standout. Like, there's only one Cookie Crisp. There's no other, like, nothing as close to Cookie Crisp.
Yeah, Honeycomb
Cookie
was
Crisp.
the sugar bear, right?
We've taught that. Smacks was the frog.
Yeah.
Was it Golden Crisp or Honey Crisp? Or was there Honey Golden Crisp? Golden something.
Well, I said Honeycomb.
Honeycomb, yeah.
Was that a bear?
No, for a while, like in the 90s, they had this crazy...
It's a bee. What's the one with the bee that flies around?
Cheerios? Like the Honey Nut Cheerios.
Is that a bee?
That's Honey Nut, yeah.
Honeycomb cereal. It was a bear, right?
What I'm thinking of in the 90s, they had like that crazy... It was a beast. Like the kids, when they didn't have their honeycomb, they turned into this crazy... It was pre-Snickers, and you turned into Betty White, but as a kid, turned into a crazy creature.
Huh.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, see?
Oh, wow.
Puffa.
I disagree with all of that.
How did that happen? From the crackle of the candle to crackle to Nestle to
Quisp.
cereal and Quisp. We end at Quisp. Quisp.
If you've ever had Crisp, let us know. Or Quisp.
Yeah, Quisp. It's a QU.
I said Crisp.
Quisp. It's hard to say Quisp. I can do it.
That's round.
Quisp. There we go. Man.
All right, you get to pick the topic here, Adam.
Yeah.
Do you want to do SOB OTW?
Okay.
This week in NWO news. That's your two choices.
Oh, okay.
or I'll talk about Dragon Con.
Oh, let's do some SOB OTW first.
Okay, the SOB OTW starts right now. It's pretty easy to be the SOB OTW.
You know what? It's all about that online interaction.
That social media love.
That social media love. You can tweet us on Twitter at Adam and JP. Give us a Facebook message, a website message, an email, an instant message, an ICQ, a quick dot. Go on Angel Fire. Go on GeoCities.
Mail us some Quisp.
Mail us some Quisp. Anywhere you want. Talk to us. Find us. And you could be the SOB OTW. It's all about that.
This week's SOB OTW is Whitney at 8-Bit Wit.
Speaking of receiving great things, he and his counterpart have given us great items over the years.
That's true.
Great items.
And we got a lot of mileage out of
I
those
keep
items.
a great fidget spinner in my bag right next to me at all times.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, they gave me.
Here's what Whitney says. Hey, fellas. Hey, Whitney. Wanted to let you know how much I've been enjoying the show. Number 314 was an excellent discussion that I found myself getting very passionate about. This could be the greatest SOB OTW of all time.
You think so?
I'm just going to prepare yourself with this next line.
Please.
This makes it quite possibly the greatest interaction we've ever had.
Okay.
I'll back up and read that again. Number 314 was an excellent discussion that I found myself getting very passionate about. I aligned nearly, if not at 100% with JP's perspective.
Oh, man.
Great discussion.
Painful.
I love the, quote, all movie episodes, and I'm looking forward to you picking back up on the MCU reviews. Yeah, we're looking forward to that, too.
It's going to happen.
Eventually. But Thor the Dark World is the next one we have
I know,
to do.
it's so tough.
We keep kicking that can down the road.
Like, we'll do it next week. Next month?
Next year? We will get back to it eventually. I've restarted watching all MCU properties, TV and movies.
Oh, wow.
So he's not just going through the MCU films. He's going through anything that's MCU from Netflix, network television, online, all of it. I wonder if that does include those little mini stories that they would do, like for some of the movies.
Yeah, like the one shot that, yeah.
Yeah, the one shots.
I don't know.
According to the CNET timeline, so he's using this timeline created by CNET.com to watch the MCU properties with. So I guess they may tell you, watch this movie, then watch this season of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And it makes a huge difference on how I understand the nuances of the main and underlying stories. I highly recommend that if you haven't seen it before, do so. Keep up the fantastic work. And I will say this, and we're a little late getting this one on. August is not too early for Adam's Ghost. Bring it on.
The people have spoken. Or at least the person has.
And then he sent a link to the CNET timeline, and he said, I live by this. Oh, one last thing. I can now appreciate Iron Man 3 after going back and watching in this order. It makes more sense to me now as it fits into Tony Stark's development. I previously thought of the movie as a failing of Shane Black. but now I see it differently.
Wow.
Whitney at 8-Bit Wit.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
So thanks, Whitney.
Yeah.
Thanks for the kind words.
Yeah.
Number 314, that was our Is the Constitution Still Relevant episode.
The serious episode.
Serious-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think one of the only shows of ours ever, and 300 plus shows where no break happened.
That's true.
No straight talking.
Yeah. There was no break.
Yeah.
We've done that a couple of times lately.
Have we really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
You know, we get on a roll.
Yeah.
Don't stop me now. I'm on a roll. So that brings us to this week in NWO News. So, as of late, this week in NWO News has kind of become This Week in Alex Jones News.
Oh, yeah.
Big news for old AJ today.
It's tough for me to hate him more, but every day I wake up, it happens. It's true.
So does most of the rest of the world.
Yeah.
Especially any sort of a media outlet or social media company. Mm-hmm. What happened today?
So I just found out this happened recently, not today specifically, but Apple Podcasts totally took him off there. I didn't know he was off of the podcast scene as well.
Oh, wow.
YouTube took him off. I know, of course, I think Facebook did as well. A lot of social medias, but up until today, Twitter was hanging strong with him. They were kind of, in his corner.
Yeah.
But it didn't happen. They took him off. Twitter is done with Alex Jones now.
I don't know why. And the last time we talked about this, I said this. I really don't understand why you want to get rid of a guy like
For your
this.
safety, is there any bags or anything? No, there's an open border, bitch. There's goddamn Al-Qaeda people being shipped in, you whore. You fucking want me to tell you if I saw something? Yeah, I saw something. I saw total tyranny being brought in. I saw foreign threats being used to take my freedom.
What was that from? What happened there?
That was just like a little Facebook video he did not too long ago.
Wow.
Alex Jones.
Wow.
Hardcore.
Wow.
That's Alex Jones on airport security.
Wow.
Here's Alex Jones on exercise.
Sometimes people bitch and complain. Sometimes I do something with my shirt off. It's because I'm real and I don't care. And I'm too lazy to go out there and put a shirt on before I put my jogging outfit on and go for a run.
You remember Pool Fun Alex Jones, right?
I think so.
I've seen, when I've gotten out of community pools and I got to go to the bathroom, people go, wow, you go to the restroom to piss in the pool? I've talked to grown men, they go, I'll just pee right in the pool. I'm like, I don't want to swim around in your piss. I go to the bathroom to piss. And excuse me talking like that, but that's the fundamentals of what I boil this down to. The Muslims from third world countries, they're used to crapping in a river. So they get in the German swimming pool and they all start crapping in the pool. You globalists think you're so advanced. I'm civilized.
Wow. Wow.
I can't believe all of these companies don't want this guy on there.
That's why pro wrestling should exist. Because if this happened in the realm of pro wrestling, it'd be funny and acceptable. He'd be a heel I could root for. But when you try to make it real like that, and even though this is still a show to him, there are people that don't believe that. They think it's real. Mm-hmm. That's sad.
Did you see him and Marco Rubio?
Oh, yeah, that was a little awkward. It was awkward to watch.
That was very awkward to watch.
Yeah.
I like Marco. Hey, man, don't touch
Yeah. And Alex Jones tries to start something with him.
Yeah.
It's like he's saying he's going to beat me up. Like, no.
He is a living, breathing troll.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
He's just a troll.
Yeah.
And as he gets older, he's starting to look more and more like a troll.
That's true.
Like a real life troll.
So he's off of every social media as far as I know now. He's off.
He still has his radio show.
I guess, but I mean, he's done with YouTube. He's done with what he's doing. Radio is not the main way to make the money. I'm sure. There's no way.
Oh, I do think he's making his money
think
through
so?
the radio show. Yeah, because
compared to the social media and YouTube and podcasts, like I would think. You don't think his YouTube and podcast was making more than the radio show?
No.
Really?
No.
Really?
Because he's making his money on those live endorsements on the radio show.
I guess. That's a big chunk, though. Big chunk.
Maybe YouTube more than a podcast.
Yeah.
But I don't think he was doing any sort of advertising on YouTube.
Oh, yeah. I saw tons of his commercials like during the live breaks there.
During his
That's
live...
his supplements and vitamins, and that's all it was, yeah.
But it was just his radio show,
Yeah,
right?
for the most
They would
part,
just
yeah.
stream his radio show live from the
I guess
InfoWars
that's what it
studio.
was, yeah. Probably so.
And he'd do the live reads.
Yeah.
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 I'm sure he'll land on his feet.
Yeah, we'll
Maybe
see.
on his head. If we're lucky. A little sidebar here, because you mentioned the world of wrestling.
Right, as I always do.
How do you feel that we're in 2018, there's a big show being promoted that features as one of the main events The Undertaker versus Triple H. Possibly Shawn Michaels involved in that match.
Yeah.
And it looks as if Shawn Michaels is going to come back and wrestle.
Is he really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Uh-huh.
Oh, boy.
Because he did a whole promo with The Undertaker the other night, and he explained why he stayed away. Man. And then The Undertaker says, it could be all of that. It could be respect, or it could be fear that I would put you down one more time. Which they're building up for a return of the Heartbreak Kid. He's past middle age now.
Oh, yeah. He's late age.
Yeah. Not late age.
For a wrestler, he's pretty late age.
He's what, 50?
No.
Ish?
He's got to be close to 60, right?
No.
You think so?
I think he's probably 50.
I think anything over 40 for a wrestler is pretty old. I mean, really.
Yeah.
Those guys don't make it too
Even
long.
Triple H is starting to
Yeah.
show his age a little bit.
Oh, yeah, for sure, yeah.
And Trish Stratus is back.
She looks so different now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's 20 years later.
I didn't know she was back, though.
Yeah.
So he's 53, Shawn Michaels is.
Yeah.
53. Which for a wrestler is pretty damn old.
Yeah. So there's wrestling talk.
I didn't know. Wow. Didn't know this was happening until you just told me.
What?
With Ian Taker and that whole thing.
Yeah. It was a pretty good promo.
Wow.
Okay, so coming up, we're going to celebrate Halloween. This is our first official Halloween episode.
Right.
I know you're super excited about next week
Very pumped.
because we're going to start our Scream. Well, although we did tease this week would be our Scream.
Right. You wait one more week for Scream time.
Because we're going to take 2 episodes to go through all the Scream movies. So we're going to do some Halloween fun here. We're going to go back to an episode of Unsolved Mysteries. It was season 12, episode 7, I think. And it involved the Black Hope curse. Mm-hmm. Crazy story.
Yeah.
Crazy things that happen to these suburbanites.
If you haven't seen it yet, pause the show. Go watch that. Streaming on a lot of places.
Yeah.
Amazon Prime has it.
Yeah. Go watch it and then come back and you can join the
Season,
conversation.
like you said, season 12, episode 7, I do believe.
Yeah. The Black Hope curse.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about that coming up. I do want to take 2 seconds here or longer to talk about Dragon Con.
Oh, yeah.
Briefly. You weren't there again.
Right.
There was
It almost happened, but it didn't happen.
There's no surprise appearance.
Right.
No, what's that called in wrestling when you just show up?
It's just a surprise. Big Pop? I don't know.
Big pop?
Yeah, Big Papa.
There was no big pop from Adam. Fun stories that we can talk about over the next few weeks. There is one story I want to tell right now because I want to say thank you publicly to our friend Silent Amy, who was on the show once.
Oh, yeah.
You probably don't remember her because she didn't speak.
She's in the corner.
But she was here.
Yeah.
Seriously, in a chair.
Was that 3 years ago? 2 or 3?
2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And Adam, do you remember a couple of years ago our Dragon Con experience? Was that 2 or 3 years ago?
Which one?
3 years ago, right? When we were
3 years ago, yeah.
in Josh's minivan.
Right, yeah.
And the tire blew out. And we were near Calhoun, Georgia.
Uh-huh.
And so we ended up spending 3 hours at a Walmart getting a tire change before we went home. Same area. On the way home this year, I'm driving by myself. I watch as a piece of pavement comes off of the road, goes up under my car. I hear it hit under my car, and then it hits the rear driver's side tire, and I hear pop.
So that's what happened.
So I pull off the side of the road, gone. I mean, well, the tire was there. It wasn't gone, but the use of it was.
The air was gone.
The air was gone. It's totally flat. It was blown out.
You have bad luck at Dragon Con for things hitting under your car.
I know. This is up there. This is top 3.
Yeah.
I don't think anything will ever top us nearly getting hit by a semi.
Right. Yeah, why is it such a bad...
I don't know.
Dragon Con.
That same area, that stretch of road too. Isn't that where we were?
Yeah. That's really weird.
So,
like, knock on wood, I take a lot of trips, and I go driving a lot for A, for Lyft, B, for weddings. I video.
Yeah.
And I go to at least once or twice a year to my wife's family in Wisconsin, like a 10 or 12 hour trip.
Yeah.
Never have these problems.
Right.
But Dragon Con, 3.5 hour drive. It's a death trap every time.
It kind of is.
Yeah.
So tire blows out. Just recently purchased a Hyundai, and it's 2016 model, and it's one of those cars where they don't have a spare. They don't even have a donut. They just give you an air pump.
Yeah.
And fix a flat. It does no good when there's a quarter-sized hole in the tire.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, great. So I call Josh and Brooklyn. They left hours before I did. They were almost home. So I know our friend Amy, Silent Amy, was down there. I call her. She is 25 minutes in front of me. Mm-hmm. So out of the kindness of her heart, she turns around, she comes back. Long story short, we spend the next 2 hours trying to get a tow truck to show up. None ever does. I want to thank Steven, or what's his name? Steve. Really nice guy named Steve who works for the CHAMP program in Georgia, which is their interstate driver assistance program. He finally shows up in his big truck that's got the blinking arrow on the back.
Oh, yeah.
He's got an air cannon like the mechanics have that can get these tires off real fast, that make the fun noise.
Oh, yeah.
Like you're a race car driver.
Right.
So he, gets over there, gets the air compressor going, gets the tire off. Amy gives me a ride to Walmart, the very same Walmart
That's crazy.
that you and I were at 3 years ago. Wow. The very same girl behind the counter named Amanda. She's the one that helps us. The only difference is we were at Walmart for 3 hours.
Wow.
They got it turned around in like 15 minutes.
Nice.
Once this starts happening, I tell Amy, I think the back half of this adventure is going to be better than the first half because it's starting to move pretty quick.
Yeah.
Gives me a ride back to my car. Steve with the CHAMP organization in Georgia, he said, once you get your tire back, just call us. I'll come back. He shows up within 10 minutes.
Nice.
Gets the tire back on. Amy takes off because she's done. Amy's done, and I don't blame her. As soon as like the jack lowers the tire, I see dust flying out of her car. No, it wasn't like that. But she was ready to go. I go to turn the key. Finally, I'm gonna get home. Click, 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 click.
What?
Click, 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 click. Because I'd left my flashers on.
Wow.
Through this entire experience, my battery was dead. So I have to go back. Steve's getting his air compressor back in his truck. Hey, Steve, buddy, before you leave, you think you can give me a jump? Because
Wow.
I think my battery's dead.
I didn't know flashers would do that. Didn't know that.
So, but it was a long time.
Yeah.
My car was on blocks on the side of the interstate for a minute. So Steve comes up, gives me a jump. I get home. The entire time, I'm just like, just let me make it back to... if I could just make it back to Manchester or Murfreesboro, I'll be happy. Because I know enough people in these areas that I could call somebody. But I will tell you what I'm going to do.
What's that?
Before I take a long trip in that car again, there will be some sort of spare, even if it's just a donut. Because that was ridiculous.
Yeah, it's
I
crazy.
can't believe car companies are doing that now.
Saves money. Saves costs.
I guess.
Shave time, shave money.
Shave time, shave money. I was in quite the quisp.
Yeah, quite the quisp.
Yeah, it was.
Wow.
All right. We're going to celebrate Halloween. We're going to get started with a episode from Unsolved Mysteries, The Curse of the Black Hope Cemetery.
Ooh. Let's do it next.
That music gets you pumped up, doesn't it, Adam?
Big time. Sure does. I need to play that song for trivia.
Yeah.
I
You
do.
should. You really should.
I have songs in between. That's one I'll go to. I play the so we have little clue rounds between each one. Sometimes you have 1 minute between each clue I give.
Yeah.
And most TV show theme songs are 1 minute long, almost exactly, so it's perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, I want to thank Silent Amy for helping me out on the side of the road.
Right. Yeah.
I can't say thank you enough.
Yeah.
Because that really would have sucked to do all that by myself.
Right, yeah.
In the early 1980s, Sam and Judith Haney were enjoying their new home in the Newport subdivision of Houston, Texas. Life seemed good for the couple, and they'd even decided to add to their home a swimming pool. That's when a strange man showed up at the door and gave Sam an eerie warning. The man warned Sam he was about to disturb 2 graves. You see, the Haney's new home rested on the corner of a subdivision that was once the 19th century slave cemetery called Black Hope. Tonight, using the archives of Unsolved Mysteries, we'll bring you the story of how not only the Haneys were affected by the graves in their backyard, but also how around the same time, the Haneys' neighbors Ben and Jean Williams also discovered their lives were about to be turned upside down and changed forever. We'll find out what happens when greedy land developers move the tombstones but not the graves. This is the curse of the Black Hope Cemetery.
Ooh. Now I'm pumped.
Are you?
Yeah.
I think we should get it started with none other than Mr. Robert Stack.
Just outside of Houston stands a Newport subdivision. known for its 1,500 upscale homes, manicured lawns, and bucolic setting. In the early 1980s, Sam and Judith Haney bought a house at the far western edge of the development.
When we bought the house in Newport, it was the house that we had always been looking for. So it was the house that we intended to stay at for a long period of time.
So that was Sam Haney there at the end. Mm-hmm. So did he use the word bucolic?
That's what I was trying to pick up there.
What is have you ever heard bucolic?
No. Not sure if it's good or bad.
Well,
sounds like, beautiful.
Like beautiful.
But then colic. It's like a negative thing. It's a bad baby thing.
Is it a combination?
Bucolic.
Is it a combination of beautiful and scenic? Bucolic?
Bucolic.
I wouldn't even know how to spell it.
Relating, actually spelled it right the first time. Relating to the pleasant aspects of the countryside and country life.
So
positive countryside life.
Yeah.
But it was like a Texas subdivision, but whatever.
Is it like a lodestar? Bucolic?
Bucolic.
A bucolic lodestar.
Blanca?
So, it's a bucolic setting.
Right.
The Haneys have a house. It's a Newport subdivision.
Yeah.
And finds out there's a morbid secret in their bucolic landscape.
It all began when a mysterious stranger showed up at their door with an ominous warning.
Yes?
This elderly man told me that he had noticed that we were putting a swimming pool in our backyard and that there was something about our backyard that I needed to know about.
Yeah.
So I followed him around to my backyard. He pointed at the ground and said that there are some graves right here.
There were 2 graves.
And he marked a spot on the ground where they were. And I really didn't know how to react to that.
Wow.
So there's bodies in the backyard.
That's all kinds of creepy in this story. It's a different time back then where a random strange old man comes to your front yard and you actually answer it.
Knock, knock, knock.
First off, I'm hiding in the bathroom if that happens. And then to actually answer it and then walk around your backyard with this crazy old man.
Yeah, what you want to do? You over here. Two bodies buried over here. I'm sure that's what the guy really said.
I don't care who you are. Odds are if you're knocking on my door, I'm not going to answer that. Is that weird? Am I alone in that?
No, I'm using the Bell Alarm camera.
Oh, you have one of those?
Yeah.
Fancy. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Good lie. All right. I don't. I just peep out the peephole like an old-fashioned guy, and I run.
Mm-hmm. Oh. Have you accepted Jesus as your Savior?
Yeah, there are Mormons of some type. There are salesmen of some type, or they're I don't know.
Has a vacuum cleaner salesman ever showed up?
Not yet. No, not yet. Has some politician, people come by?
The only time I've ever closed the door in somebody's face was a politician person.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad you went along with that. I called it the politician person. You're like, yeah, the politician people. Thanks for playing along with that.
And then he and I walked around the backyard a little bit.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and he was, come over here.
Over here, you got your
body buried over here.
But it just shows a different time back then that people do that.
The 80s?
Yeah, it's a different time.
This was the early 80s.
My sister talks about that often. Like, back in the day, when we were kids, my parents would just pick me up and without even calling or whatever beforehand, take me to my family's place and just like knock on the door and we'd go into my aunts and uncle's house, sit down, talk, and just with no warning beforehand.
The pop-in?
Yeah, the pop-in. Like, that was a thing for our family.
No.
Yeah. For the family, like, that was we had frequent pop-ins.
We had phones.
Even neighbors, man.
Them.
Like, neighbors across the street from, 30-plus years, we would just, walk across and just knock and come in.
I'm going to over here and sing with the
that's crazy.
Buried in your backyard.
You have to, give me a Facebook message first to see if I'm home.
Right.
And then,
text me.
Check me on Twitter. Give me a Snapchat story to see what I'm doing.
Because the nights we do this, if I miss your call and you come by, you won't stop unless you hear from me.
No, I'm vulturing. I'm circling your house.
Yeah, I know.
It's 2018, man.
Even though I'm expecting you.
I know. I still vulture it.
And you could, even if you're not comfortable with coming in, you could just hang out in the backyard or the driveway. You don't want to hang with the bodies in the backyard?
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So this old man shows up and he tells Sam, hey,
yeah.
Because here's another thing about these Unsolved Mysteries. When they interview the actual people, I love the accents.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And the little quirks to their voice.
Right.
The little quisp they might have.
Quisp. That's another weird thing. Like, how do you know...
This guy's lying?
How do you know someone is prep from the reenactment, which is not accurate whatsoever, but It's just a plain backyard.
Uh-huh.
So how do they know you're about to build a pool there?
Well, he said he heard that they were about to build a pool.
It just spreads across the street.
Yeah, well, you know how it is.
You know the Thompson's going to make a pool.
Yeah. Laundry.
And this guy, we may speak of it here soon, but did he himself helped bury the what's going to happen here?
Oh, that's a different person.
Right, okay.
Yeah. He's coming up.
Right.
Yeah.
So how did this guy know is my question.
I don't know. He just showed up one day.
I have so many questions about this random strange man knocking on doors.
Well, anyways, he tells Sam, you got some bodies buried in your backyard.
Yeah.
Sam goes inside and tells Judith, you're not going to believe this. There's bodies buried in the backyard.
All of a sudden, just from a knock on the door, our beliefs, our emotions, everything sort of changed because it was like, gracious, I have bodies in my back of my yard.
She loves Quisp.
She loves a Quisp.
There's bodies in the back of my yard.
And here's where I'm watching this, and I realize I'm either a little too desensitized or maybe a borderline bad person.
Okay.
Because since I was a small kid, I've never understood the fear of skeletal remains. I don't understand that. I've never once, stumbled upon that accidentally. But I'm a pretty good assumption if I just saw a skeleton, I wouldn't freak out and shriek and worry. And even in this show here, they talk about seeing it, and it's like this big reveal of the skeletal remains and the thing. I don't know why. I'm afraid of many things, but skeletons are not one of those things.
So let me get this straight.
Is that odd? Am I desensitized? Is that what it is?
I think you're just a bad person. So let me get this straight.
Yeah.
If I send you a Facebook message
right.
and text you
yeah.
and call you when I'm on the way over, and you answer the door,
and
I tell you, hey, man, crazy story. I just heard there's bodies buried in your backyard. That wouldn't freak you out.
Not at all. I'm not trying to be, cool and macho here.
Well,
like I said, many things would freak me out, but bodies and skeletons being in my backyard would not.
Well, it freaked out Sam.
Right, it did.
And it freaked out Judith. But Sam wanted to know if he truly had bodies in his backyard. If these greedy land developers really did move the tombstones, but not move the graves.
Using a backhoe, the Haneys decided to see if the man's alarming claims were true.
We encountered some wood fragments, and at that point we stopped with the backhoe, and we got down into the hole and continued digging by hand. There was pine boards. When we lifted up the first board, we could see the indentation of a skeleton form. It didn't take long to figure out that it was an actual human remains.
There are bodies in the back of my yard.
There sure are. I love the way, I don't know if you have the clip for it, but after this, in real time, Robert Stack, the way he says skeleton, it's just fun. Skeleton. I wish I could say it like that. There's no T. Like he makes it, but it's not in a bad way. He says it properly. Skeleton. They may do it. I don't know. But this is the point in the show. I'm watching it like.
This would not bother me at all.
No, I mean, it would.
This wouldn't bother you?
No.
If you had a shovel and a backhoe and you dug up a pine wood casket in your backyard.
No, I don't know.
With skeletal remains.
What? I won't give any spoilers here, but what could happen later on? That would freak me out, but the actual act of finding a physical skeleton in the backyard, not so much. I don't know why people are afraid of skeletons.
Well, that's not all they found.
Sam immediately called the sheriff and county coroner, who conducted an official exhumation. Most of the bones had turned to powder, but 25 fragments were found, some so brittle that they disintegrated when touched. A second coffin, located alongside the first, was left untouched. 2 wedding rings were on the frail index finger of the exposed skeleton.
Skeleton.
And did you... There's another word there. Listen to the beginning of that again.
Sam immediately called the sheriff and county coroner, who conducted an official exhumation.
Exhumation, yeah. Wow.
Exhumation.
Botch Weasel, what's it called? Is that what it was? Botch Weasel?
I don't know. What was it he said at the beginning?
Just outside of Houston stands a Newport subdivision, known for its 1,500 upscale homes, manicured lawns, and bucolic setting.
Bucolic.
Skeletal? Or skeleton?
Skeleton.
Exhumation?
He's fancy in this one. The majority of his actual speaking parts, Stack is wearing a trench coat.
He is.
Totally tied up, by the way.
I know.
With his full 3-piece suit beneath it.
He's not playing around in the Black Hope Cemetery.
Right.
So they find contestant number 1. Then they find contestant number 2, who has 2 wedding rings on the index finger of the skeleton.
Which is weird. I don't know if you'll play the spot, like I said, but immediately after this, they give the 2 wedding bands to the homeowners. I'm like, here you go.
Yeah.
A little souvenir for you.
I don't know. You're gonna... So the Haneys are disgusted that they find that their house were built on the graves. You know, the greedy land developers.
Right.
Move the tombstones, but they didn't move the graves. They're sickened to find this out. So they decided to find out who the graves belong to. So now it turns into a little mystery. We're going to go on a little mystery here and find out exactly who this is.
The 2 people buried in the Haney's backyard were Betty and Charlie Thomas. Census records revealed that the married couple were born into slavery in the mid-1800s and freed after the Civil War. They died during the 1930s, and their graves were eventually forgotten.
Betty and Charlie's family wasn't there anymore, and it was up to me to give them the dignity that they deserved. And that was very important to me.
It was important. There's bodies in the back of my yard.
Yeah.
Now, I believe, they're turned on, they find this out. They have some help finding this out, exactly who Betty and Charlie are.
Their search led them to a longtime resident named Jasper Norton. As a youth, Jasper had dug several graves in the area. He told the Haneys that their home and surrounding houses were built on top of an old African-American cemetery called Black Hope. The deceased were mainly former slaves. The last burial was in 1939, and as many as 60 people were interred there in paupers' graves.
I love the words he's using in this.
They're great, yeah.
Interred, pauper's grave.
Yeah. There's a sentence in that last
Bucolic.
bit. Bucolic. He says, in his youth, he dug many graves in the area. No one thinks that's a weird sentence at all. He just says and goes on in the next bit. In his youth, he dug many graves in the area. Also, what? You can't just say that and keep going. You got to stop for that. Give me time to take it in.
Also, he sold counterfeit purses on the corner.
You know, your youthful hobbies, video games, board games, roller skating, biking, digging graves.
Grave digger.
Yeah, the usual stuff. Yeah.
But he dug the graves in this area.
Yeah.
So, did he never tell anyone there's graves there?
Yeah, why would you have a youth digging graves with no headstone, no tombstone? I don't know.
I think there were headstones and tombstones.
There were at one point?
At one point, because they have black and white photos of the cemetery with headstones and tombstones.
Yeah.
So clearly they moved the tombstones, but they didn't bother to move the graves. So they know it's Betty and Charlie. The Haneys decide to give Betty and Charlie a proper burial. And they reburied the remains in their backyard.
Which
they don't move them.
I don't want to be that guy.
What be that guy?
Like when I'm gone, do what you want. I don't care.
Oh, okay.
It's my physical. I don't understand the story and the. We'll see. The poltergeist tie-ins are happening, and you'll see eventually it happens even more so. But I'm curious how. We'll see. I don't want to spoil it.
Well, yeah. So they bury him in the backyard.
Right.
They're trying to give him a proper burial.
Yeah.
Judith has some peace that she's done the right thing after disturbing the graves because she was bad. She was worried. First of all, she was shocked to find out that she had bodies in the back of her yard. I got bodies in the back of my yard.
Would you be shocked right now?
If I found out there were bodies back in the backyard?
You'd actually be kind of shocked.
Other than the ones I put there?
Yeah, the extra ones.
Other than the hobos?
Yeah.
So they bury them, but it's possible that Betty and Charlie weren't as happy as they were. The Haneys begin to experience paranormal activity, including an unplugged clock in the bedroom that has blue sparks flying out of it, which is my favorite effect in this entire episode. Like the actress that's playing Judith, she's laying in bed and she just looks over and there's this alarm clock just sparking blue 1980s special effects for television. They hear slamming doors, shutting, voices from dark and empty rooms. And then this happens.
In the morning, I awoke, went in my closet to get my red shoes, and I could not find them anywhere.
So, of course, I started looking for them and went through all of her closets where she normally puts things. And we just couldn't find it. We had walked just a short distance where the grave sites were, and I could see something on the grave. It was the shoes that Judy was looking for that morning. And they were both side by side, like someone had just picked them up and carried them over and laid them down on the graveside.
Even more disquieting to the Haneys was when they realized what day this was. Betty Thomas's birthday.
Dun, dun, dun.
A gift to Betty. That's what it was.
Oh, no, what's a gift to Betty?
Yeah.
Did he say disquieting?
I think so.
Even more disquieting.
Big Bobby broke out the thesaurus this week, didn't he?
Really did. I want to know the story of the shoes.
Yeah.
Because apparently she only has one pair of red shoes.
Yeah, my red shoes.
Because I'm like,
well, of course I'd help her find them.
I looked in the closet where she leaves everything.
Right.
Judy's a big fan of Red Shoe Diaries. And I was on a business trip in New York, and I got these shoes, and that's all she wants to wear. Every time she gets up, she's not even going anywhere.
Did you see that HBO's going to stop doing, Red Shoe Diaries kind of shows?
Like Game of Thrones?
No, like porn.
Like Game of Thrones?
No, it's not porn. Starting in next year, they're stopping all the porno.
Like Game of Thrones?
It's not a porn.
Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. All right, so
Yeah.
Stat goes on to tell us that over a dozen neighbors report strange activity and even ghost sightings, but none have it as bad as Sam and Judy's neighbor, Bob and Jean Williams.
Pretty bad.
This is actually a really bad story.
The Williams said that near the flowers, sinkholes appeared in the unmistakable shape of a coffin. The Williams would fill them in, only to have them mysteriously reappear a few days later. The Williams also noticed strange markings on an oak tree by the sinkholes. An arrow pointed towards the ground. Beneath it were 2 horizontal slash marks. A longtime resident of the area told the Williams he was the one who had marked the tree as a way to identify where his 2 sisters were buried.
Do you think maybe this guy and Gravedigger are in cahoots?
That sounds like a connection, right?
This is a totally different person.
Right.
Like, we have 3 random people that seem to know all the details of this. There's the guy at the beginning. There's bodies buried back there. I'm not saying I did it.
These characters like the Sam Elliott of the Big Lebowski, they're just there and they know it all.
Yeah.
They just talk about it.
And then there was the guy that told them that he was the gravedigger.
Yeah.
I used to dig graves in your backyard.
When I was 12, it was me.
Yeah.
My youth.
I worked at a video store until about 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah.
And then for $7 an hour, I would dig graves.
Yeah. Take a break, I play some jacks, come back and finish the grave.
Then there's this guy who says he marked the tree because his sisters are buried there.
Yeah.
He put the arrow and the 2.
So these people just straggle up on their porch, knock, and give these stories?
Yeah, I guess. No, okay. You said you would not be disturbed to find out that there were bodies buried in your backyard.
Correct.
If you had an area in your backyard where you tried to grow plants and they all died, and then all of a sudden a sinkhole in the shape of a coffin formed, you would fill it in, and then a sinkhole in the shape of a coffin would form. You would fill it in, and then a sinkhole in the shape of a coffin would form. Would that freak you out?
That'd be a little odd. Yeah, that's a little more odd.
And it was right. Do you think they never noticed the arrow on the tree before this?
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird.
There's an arrow pointing right to the sinkhole.
Yeah.
And hash marks.
See, I don't know. It's a tough sell.
Yeah, and unlike it seems like Sam and Judy. I mean, like some fun stuff,
Yeah,
like
clocks
glow in the dark
and-
clock, and
My red shoes are missing.
Shoes are missing.
My favorite pair of drawers are gone.
But things are a little more intense for Ben and Jean Williams.
According to the Williams, their ideal home was soon invaded by a menacing presence. Nebulous shadows rapidly slid along the walls. Whispered words and a putrid smell followed in their wake. Had the dead sisters or other spirits disturbed from their eternal resting places come back to life? At the time, the Williams' granddaughter Carly lived with the couple. During the blazing heat of summer, Carly said she would stumble into bone-chilling pockets of freezing air.
It would be very, very chilly. and you'd have just this feeling of foreboding, or just, like either something wasn't right. Anywhere in the house, you would have a feeling that you were not alone, that somebody was watching you. It terrified me to be in the house by myself.
So that was their granddaughter.
Yeah.
This sounds a little more intense.
Mm-hmm. It's getting there.
It's a little more creepy. And apparently, the ghost in the house of the Williams liked to play with the toilets.
The toilets used to flush on their own.
Do you hear the voices?
As the water went down, I could hear, it was almost like conversations. Like I could hear people murmuring to themselves. It was a presence or spirit or something there. Something that wanted to be heard, wanted me to know it was there.
So apparently the toilets are haunted.
Right, yeah. Yeah.
The house in general is haunted.
The murmurs are happening.
The toilet
Murmuring.
murmurs.
Murmur.
Oh, man. Boy, have I got a case of the toilet murmurs. Weird things happen. Like Jean describes other hauntings that include strange footsteps when she was in the house alone. Also, there was a story she tells about hearing these footsteps stomp around when she and her granddaughter were in her granddaughter's room reading a book. And then we find out how Ben is affected, which may be the most intense of all.
As the unexplainable phenomena seemed to increasingly target the Williams, Ben and Jean debated what to do next.
Me and Jean, we talked it over. And she said, well, what can we do? Walk off and leave it? She said, we ain't got enough money to pay it out on another home. I said, we always been fighters. We're going to stay right here and fight it and try to beat it.
If this had just happened like 15 years later, they could have been victims of the subprime mortgage
That's true, yeah.
scandal.
Yeah.
And they could have been in a home for nothing.
That's true.
Too bad balloon mortgages weren't all the rage at this time.
It wasn't long before Ben got his chance.
I came home from work around 10 after 12 for midnight shift, and I walked straight to the kitchen, opened the refrigerator door.
I love the sound effects.
And that's when I seen these two ghostly figures. And they went straight backwards into the den. And then they started moving toward the hall going down to the bedrooms. I noticed that they was heading right down the hall to Jean's. Well, when I walked through the bedroom door, instead of two forms being there was just one. And it was standing right about a foot and a half from the end of the bed. And the only thing I really thought of, they ain't messing with my wife.
I like Ben.
Like that guy? He'll attack some entities.
He ain't afraid of no ghosts.
That's true. He is not.
So according to the reenactment, the spirits enter the room. They form into one. They're at the end of the bed. So the only thing Ben knows what to do is just jump at them. So that's exactly what he does. He jumps and lands in the bed. Oh, he's going to go right through them. They're ghosts.
Right, yeah.
Ben, what are you doing?
As I dove through it, I felt a sticky, cold sensation in my body.
Are you okay?
And I turned around, looked at the end of the bed, and wasn't nothing there.
He sounds like Basil Marceau.
Ben, what are you doing?
Ben. Wow. What was Ben doing?
Did he say a sticky freezing sensation?
Sticky cold.
Sticky. I don't know. Let's try that again.
Ben, what are you doing?
As I dove through it, I felt a sticky, cold sensation in my body.
Sticky cold sensation in my body.
Felt a sticky cold sensation in my body. then the story, like up to this point, everything seems...
It's kind of comical.
It's kind of comical. It's
Yeah.
kind of fun. And then Stack takes a very...
comedy's sucked out of it.
Very dark turn with what happens next.
But the Williams nightmare was far from over. In rapid succession, 6 of the Williams' immediate relatives were diagnosed with cancer. 3 succumbed to the disease.
You just don't have that much sickness and death in that shorter period of time. The spirits of the dead wanted me and my family to get off of their graveyard.
So, Adam.
Yeah.
Let's recap this a little bit.
Right.
Stuff happens to the Haneys. Stuff starts happening to Ben and Jean.
Mm-hmm.
They make contact with these spirits. And then they start losing family members in a rapid fashion to cancer.
That's a stretch, right? Like, I'll give you benefit of the doubt and say if you're in the house and on that property, sure. But the fact when it goes to like distant family members that aren't even in
Well, we don't know they hadn't been to the house.
Yeah, I guess. It's still a stretch to me. So if you step inside the house, you get cancer?
Not all.
Yeah. See, it's a stretch. I can't follow that. I can follow if you're... I can maybe follow if you live there. You're being tormented.
But 8 people?
I know, but it's still... It's just kind of a stretch, right?
Over, what was it, 6 months? Is that what he said?
I can't remember, yeah.
He explains it one more time.
But the Williams nightmare was far from over. In rapid succession, 6 of the Williams' immediate relatives were diagnosed with cancer. 3 succumbed to the disease.
You just don't have that much sickness and death in...
So, 6.
Yeah.
Still a lot.
Yeah.
Sad situation either way.
For sure, yeah.
Paranormal, not paranormal. Sad situation. So then in this episode, then we jump back to the Haneys and see what they decided. They decided to do something about these greedy land developers who moved the tombstones but didn't move the graves.
The Haneys decided to fight back in court. They sued the developer for not disclosing that their home was built over a cemetery, in part so that everyone would know what was happening at the Newport subdivision. A jury awarded them $142,000 for mental anguish, but in a devastating reversal, the judge ruled on legal grounds that the developers were not liable. The verdict was thrown out, and the Haneys ordered to pay $50,000 in court costs.
And at that point, we decided to file bankruptcy. So all in all, we ended up losing the case, losing the money, losing the house.
We were exhausted. And we got in our car and went where there was love and support and tried to put it behind us.
That's a really sad...
It is, yeah.
That's a really sad
terrible.
ending.
Yeah.
To the Haney story.
Yeah.
They lose their house.
Right.
They go bankrupt. They tried to sue these greedy land developers, which they should have won.
Yeah, I'm not sure that the judge was thinking there.
So that's the end of the Haney story.
Yeah.
And you think, okay, well, that's a really sad ending. Then we get what happened to Ben and Jean, which is the saddest, and this is a really long clip. This is the saddest ending to almost any Unsolved Mysteries I've ever seen.
It was illegal in Texas to disturb a grave without permission from the family.
Oh, yeah, they did the same thing. They tried to take legal course.
Right.
And then the state, they wanted the bodies just off their property.
Yeah.
And then the state says they couldn't do that.
It was then that Jean made a decision she will forever regret.
That was the last straw. You want a body? I'll show you a body. So I thought to myself, I can dig, and I can dig about 2 feet a day, and I knew I would reach a body.
But soon after she started digging, Jean felt ill.
I'm going to do the rest later. Take over, okay?
Her daughter Tina volunteered to finish the job.
And she dug for, I'd probably say almost half an hour.
Are you okay? Yeah, I feel just a little faint.
And I remember her saying that she felt funny. She was getting dizzy as well. And she put the shovel down and she went back inside.
You lay down, honey.
And she just laid down on the couch. She's like, Mom, Daddy, I don't feel right. You know, there's something wrong.
We got to call 911.
The last thing I remember her saying was, Mommy, take care of my baby. Take care of my baby. And she looked so scared.
Talk to me, Tina. Almost immediately, her eyes started glazing over. And I was talking to her, trying to talk her out of dying. Please, Tina, talk to me. And all this time, her eyes were changing until they got to the point where I knew that she wasn't with me, or she wasn't, responding at all.
Tina had suffered a massive heart attack. 2 days later, she died. She had just turned 30 years old.
Okay.
Dang.
Let's unpack this a little bit.
Yeah.
Take the whole there's a haunting and they're actually being haunted by ghosts. Take that off the table completely. Look at this from how weird this situation is. Bodies in the backyard. State won't move them without permission from the family. They don't know the names of the ghost or the deceased. Mm-hmm. We're going to take ghost out of this. They don't know the names of the deceased like Sam and Judy did. So Jean decides if you want a body, I'll show you a body. And she's going to dig these bodies up herself. Then her daughter takes over and has a heart attack while digging up nearly 200-year-old bodies out of their backyard. How crazy is that?
Yeah, it's pretty nuts. And she was young.
30.
30, yeah.
And that was her daughter that's been talking this entire time.
Right, yeah.
And then at the end of the story, Stack wraps it up.
None of the subsequent residents living in the Williams, Haney, or other nearby homes ever experienced any paranormal activity.
If we would have known what was going to happen, we would have left a lot sooner than we did. A lot sooner.
We paid the price. Oh, the price was so heavy. We paid with our family. We paid with our health. We paid with our savings. Everything was gone. If we had not left the cemetery, we would not be here today. I believe that.
All right, Adam.
Jeez.
There you go.
Way to bring it down.
It's the curse of the Black Hope Cemetery.
Yeah. So what do you think of that? Legit? Bad luck? Coincidental?
Well, first of all, I'm giving Robert Stack a 10 on his word choice.
On his synonyms there, yeah.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how likely does this seem like an actual haunting?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say there seems to be a lot that happens that's actually explainable. Houses settle, and you hear noises. And if you believe you are being haunted, you can chalk those noises up to ghost. I think the cancer stuff with Ben and Jean, I think that's just an incredible coincidence. And I also think that there's probably a lot of emotion going on the day that Jean decides to go dig up the bodies out of the backyard. And I think you couple that emotion with this was probably in the summertime. It was probably really hot. Mom gets sick while trying to dig up these bodies. Her daughter, Tina, is probably like, I just want this done. I'm going to dig until these bodies or we find something. She's probably putting too much strain on herself, and that's probably what caused the heart attack. So, the creep factor is an 8.
Yeah,
because when you dig up bodies and their skeletal remains with wedding bands on them, the creep factor is an 8. The likelihood of an actual haunting, I'm going to put around the 3 or 4 mark.
Okay.
What about you?
Creep factor for me is kind of low.
Really?
Yes, I mean, I told you that the skeletal remains do nothing for me.
Okay.
But I would have no fear until stuff like that started happening.
Uh-huh.
And I think, I don't know. I think that would kind of mess me up a little bit.
Yeah.
Just random bad things happening like that. And I think if those were true, I mean, you could say, the house is settling, noises happen, toilets are funny. But when you're seeing like actual vapor ghosts and you jump through them and get cold, sticky feelings, I mean, that's a little bit different. It's one thing to be tricked, but when you see things like that, it's a little bit different. And even like as bad as it is, like you said, the deaths and sickness in the family, it's terrible. But that could be coincidence as well.
Uh-huh.
Just because that happened doesn't mean it's for a reason. But for me, the selling point was the actually seeing the ghosts.
Yeah.
That's something that will never, ever happen unless it's an actual ghost.
Well, or if you're an older person.
Yeah.
And you're already a little, your eyes can play tricks on you if you believe there's a ghost in your house.
I would think for like a second, but from what I hear in the story, he comes home from the graveyard shift, sees them in the living room.
What you did there. Graveyard
sees
shift.
Sees them in the living room, follows them into the bedroom. It's not like a shimmer of a headlight from the street. He's seeing these things happen in the living room, follows them into the bedroom, sees them in the bedroom.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's the selling point for me. If that was when that would happen is when I would have a problem. When I start seeing ghosts in my house, that's when I believe. But, if the toilet makes a funny noise, whatever.
Yeah. What about the red shoes?
I've misplaced things before and found them in random spots. Have no idea how they got there, so it's a little bit different to find them on top of a freshly dug grave. But whatever.
Yeah, that's the only thing I can't rationalize.
Yeah.
Other than,
I mean,
unless I want to be mean and say that somebody's making something up.
Well, maybe not making it up for a reason, but I won't lie. If that happened in the backyard, and my wife was freaked out about that, I would probably move her shoes and put them on top of the grave just for a joke. I would. I think it'd be funny.
I would do the same thing.
Exactly.
Too.
Yeah.
Especially her favorite red shoes.
Yeah.
And she wears every day
what may have happened,
for no reason.
What may have happened is this story happened. The husband scares the wife over and over. He's doing these tricks, playing this stuff. And one day she comes to him and she says, "That's it, Stanley. I called Robert Stack. We're getting interviewed about Unsolved Mysteries."
We got Unsolved Mysteries.
He's like, "Uh-oh. Better beef it up here." And so then I saw these vapors, see, and I jumped through them, see?
And they were sticky and cold all through my body.
That's what makes the most sense to me. Husband tries to scare his wife. She takes it too far, and he's went too deep. He can't turn back.
Yeah, even though they really did bury bodies in their backyard.
Right. But like I said, if that really happened in my backyard and my wife was freaked out and I was not, I would totally play it up.
Yeah.
I would play jokes. I would.
Uh-huh. And then end up losing, like going bankrupt.
Yeah, that part would suck, yeah.
See, because I don't know. People do weird things when they're trying to get, prove a point.
Right, trying to get some
money.
Yeah.
Hey, these shoes showed up on the graves. It's
Yeah.
not creepy enough that we have 2 fresh graves in our backyard, but the shoes showed up out there.
Were they going for, was it $175,000, $179,000?
And they won it.
Yeah,
and then the
first.
judge overturned it.
And then had to pay $50,000.
And then, which bankrupted them.
Yeah.
They hit the old bankrupt
on
the wheel.
Yeah.
So where do you put this as believability? If I say 3.
Yeah, 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Maybe even a little lower. That's, yeah.
Okay.
That's, I don't know.
I was expecting you not to be skeptical.
It's a little bit different. I don't know.
Because there's actual bodies involved with this.
And I think it's where my skepticism comes in. Like, I have a hard time understanding why, just because you physically move a body, why that should disrupt anything. You know what I mean?
Well, I guess it's all in the spirit plane and where the spirits are. And
yeah, so take that,
they didn't, because apparently no one got bothered until that initial digging for the pool.
But in the spirit,
with the backhoe, and it disturbed the graves.
No matter what spiritual thing you think happens after death, is it what's happened? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't talk of it without sounding religious in one aspect or another.
Right.
If you're in a spiritual plane, are you kind of hanging out until someone in the physical realm moves your body, and then you're like, whoa, and you come back? If you're in a heaven or hell, are you just hanging out there until someone moves your body, and they're like, whoop, I'll be right back?
Well, I think
what's the catch there?
Part of the theory is
because we're talking
that,
like 60, 70 years they were dead.
Because you're, I think we're putting our rational minds and capability of reasoning on these ghosts, and from everything I've read, if you believe in that, if you believe that's a possibility, most of these ghosts don't have the capability of reasonable thinking, and the ability to reason. So they're just basically, it's almost like they're stuck in a loop and they're just going through motions of things that they remember or things that they did in their life, and they're not actively making decisions to disturb. That's one theory, which could explain why.
So they're nice ghosts.
They're peaceful, and
they're always there. They choose not to be shown or
right.
seen.
That if you like mess with their grave or whatever.
Well, I don't know.
I don't know.
Like I said, I'm that ghost. If I ever get buried somewhere, do what you want.
So we both say 2 or 3.
Yeah, like
from 1 to 10, believability.
For
3.
me, Bigfoot and Loch Ness are more believable than this.
Even though we have actual bodies,
right?
Bodies reburied in a backyard that caused paranormal activity, people getting cancer, a 30-year-old dies from a heart attack, and this couple goes bankrupt trying to prove that the land developers moved the tombstones but didn't move the graves.
Right, yeah.
Like in Poltergeist. Yeah. We both still say 3.
I think so, yeah.
This is going to be a very interesting Halloween. No, I have a mission to try to find something.
It's not tough. I think it's just
that we can believe.
It's not tough.
So we do Loch Ness Monster.
Like I told you, cryptozoology are much more believable to me than that.
Chupacabra.
Yep.
Next week, Chupacabra.
Goat sucking all week.
All right. You got anything else you want to do? We didn't do Adam's Ghost, but I guess that was like...
Yeah, that was ghosty. That was a big, long Adam's Ghost.
That was a big, long Adam's Ghost. Check us out online.
Ooh. AdamandJP.com, Facebook.com/AdamandJP. Don't forget on Twitter at AdamandJP. And you know what? Patreon.com/podcast roll is pretty fun too.
And let us know if you like the Unsolved Mysteries thing.
Oh, yeah.
The way we did this, let us know. We'll maybe do a couple more during Halloween.
It's possible.
But next week, Scream.
It begins. We've teased it for a while, and it's time to start talking about Scream. I think the focus will be Scream 1 and Scream 2 next week.
Yeah.
With 3 and 4 to follow.
I'm Jay Patrick. That's Adam.
Eat your podcast roll.
For your safety, is there any bags or anything? No, there's an open border, bitch.
This has been a production of the Adam and JP family of on-demand talk radio.
AdamandJP.com.
Right now.